We can do it.
Joy, welcome to the podcast. It is such a
You.
pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for your time. I am going to let you introduce yourself and just welcome to the podcast. And I'm so excited for our chat.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me. After we've chatted and connected, and I really love the nature of our conversation. So it was an absolute honor to be here today. So I'm Joy. It's so funny. People ask me this question, like, introduce yourself, and immediately everything jumps out of my head. Because this is a fashion, podcast. I guess I've used fashion as my language for many, many years. I've been in the industry for going on 10 years now, everything from costume design to styling to retail management. And I think at the end of the day, it all kind of comes down to fashion as a language. I'm currently now doing my MBA in fashion technology as the technology world keeps on snowballing and it's like a runaway train. And so looking at how we can infuse tech and borrow tech from different fields and infuse it into our industry that we love. But that's a little bit about me and what I do.
Yeah, fantastic. I think you're so modest. You've done some really incredible things. I just urge people, go check Joy out on LinkedIn because she's not name dropping, but damn, could she name drop? She's worked for some really, really big and impressive companies, as well as, working for yourself as a designer. And let me not butcher this, but just go check her out because, wow, she's got some credentials behind her. And yeah, Joy, I want to also talk about the nature of your sort of internationalness. So you were born in Kenya, but grew up in Australia, and now you're in Paris. Where do you see yourself living? Do you have an idea, or you're just kind of seeing where life takes you?
I am all about living that international life. I grew up, with this idea that I wanted a career, first of all, that could take me anywhere. I didn't want to be stuck behind a desk. I can't think of anything that's worse. And I also just love people and new things. So yes, born in Kenya, raised in Australia, lived in Jamaica for a few years. I tried to live in Dubai. It's also something that I used to do. If anybody remembers this era in 2017, where everybody was going to the UAE to start a business, I tried to do that with my cousins, and this is where I learned that I am not a business. It's not a thing that I can do. I am a soldier. I like directions. And yeah, now I'm Paris. So in terms of where I see myself settling, I think it's just where the wind takes me. I am not tied down. I'm a very easygoing woman. As long as I can have a coffee, see some good fashion and some good art, I'm good.
Perfect. Yeah, well, then the world is going to take you places. Having an open mind, open heart, I'm telling you, like, it's just the beginning. So I'm so excited to watch your journey. But let's talk about what you're doing right now, which is your MBA in Fashion
Yes.
Entrepreneurship and Technology. That's right, yes.
That's
It's a long, impressive title.
I I know, it's so funny. Like when I was, looking for a master's to do, I think I had kind of come to this glass ceiling in my career where I wasn't going where I wanted to go next without kind of expanding my horizons and my expertise. And I didn't want to do just, fashion entrepreneurship or fashion design. I felt like I really did have the backbone and the skill set already. And I wanted something that was innovative and that could drive the industry forward. You're going to hear us talk about this all the time, but I love this industry and preserving the heart of it and the culture of it and the identity of it. And so I came across this MBA in fashion entrepreneurship and tech on a Google search, and it was one of the only ones I found that directly infused technology and fashion together. Which I found very, very interesting. And the fact that it was based here in Paris, the capital of fashion, was also just a big win. I think, and we've talked about this before, but fashion at the moment is kind of in this renaissance of technology. There's so much happening and there's so much more new development and innovation. But if we look at the world at the moment and some of the big tech giants, it's a snowball effect. It's a runaway train. I mean, we talk about, Microsoft at the moment is talking about nuclear powered data centers. You think about Amazon and ChatGPT and OpenAI, and fashion is still using 100-year-old model today. I mean, if you talk about trying to play catch up without leaving more ramifications, now is the time to really focus on technology and borrowing from engineering, from architecture, from medicine, and seeing what new innovations or what new technologies can we infuse in the industry. So that's what I'm primarily focusing on, and trying to, protect this industry that I love, even though it's got a long way to go, but I'm really, really passionate about that.
I love that. And I hope I'm going to say this right, but it's interesting. I'm about this as well. So we're big proponents of protecting the heritage, the culture. We spoke about how we really value craftsmanship, like you spoke about a beaded Kenyan gown. Like, there's nothing quite like that. But then some people are like, okay, but now we're talking about AI. Now we're talking about, robotics. That's going to take people's jobs. I think you and I are both of the belief that we don't want that. We want it to improve the lives of people. We don't want jobs to be taken. We want it to improve. Yeah. What do you think? How can we do that with technology? Is there a way, or is this part of what you think of every day? Or how is it for
Yeah,
you?
100%. And I think, AI is such a broad and scary thing to try and dissect, but the way that I understand AI is that I still think it's very misunderstood. It's not this magical tool that is, can read your mind. There still has to be this element of human interaction. It still has to have prompts. It still has to gather information. So when we're talking about it's going to steal our jobs and it's going to, remove the creativity from the industry, I don't know if I 1,000% believe that, and somebody might come for me, but that's fine. I think if you look at it as a calculator, if you look at it as an actual tool to assist designers and creativity people, it can enhance what they do. It can push the limits where we were once limited to now expanding things that we didn't think we could touch before. If you think about every single, mechanism or tool or machinery that has been invented throughout the years, whether it would be embroidery machines, whether it be 3D printing machines, those are still run by humans. They haven't stolen the jobs. Yes, they've kind of, taken up more space, but there's still that human element. And that's the part that I want to focus on.
Yeah.
That's the part that I believe still needs the song to be sung of AI and humans can still coexist. The AI still needs us,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's really what I believe.
Yeah, it's important because it's a nuanced topic, and in fashion that is so used to doing things, it hasn't evolved that much like in the past 100 years, like you've said, and it needs this renaissance. So it's good to hear. And I said this, I think I said the word joy 8,000 times in our last call, but that's fine.
Use the word joy.
We need some excitement around it because it is kind of like, I'm not saying there's not, but we don't hear it all the time. We kind of, in the fashion world, it is scary. It is scary for creatives, but it needn't be. It's something to actually feel positive about when used in the right way. And it's also a nuance when it comes to sustainability, a word which we both struggle with. We can get into that.
Yes.
I think I stole it from Gunny. Gunny, I say Ganny, but it's, Danish. Gunny.
I say Ganny too.
Yeah, they the CEO and founder, I think he uses the word responsible. So I'm going to try and use that. It's kind of not as broad and doesn't like trigger you in the same way, but there is a conversation to do with sustainability and technology and AI and sustainability in particular. So is that a part of what you're studying? I'm really curious as to your curriculum. Are you taught sustainability or like these responsibility stuff within your curriculum? Or just tell me a little bit about what you study. Like, what are your favorite parts?
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely sustainability is one of the core subjects that we are taking, more so in the sense of responsibility and supply chain, and especially in this era of greenwashing and companies saying one thing and claiming that all of their products are organic when really they're not, or it's really something that we're looking into. And so I think you're right. I think that there's this sense of responsibility that brands are now starting to feel the weight of. When it comes to sustainability, as you said, it's a trigger word. I don't like the word. I hear it, I get highs. I'm like, who's watching? Who's coming for us? But I think in the sense of just really breaking it down, it's the ability to sustain our industry, is the ability to sustain our world, the planet that we live on, the place that we grow our families and our lives. And if you step outside of fashion for a second, and you just look at, the nuances of what sustainability is, and for a while it was all about kind of reducing, waste and pollution and carbon, and now it's kind of like, okay, we can't reduce, so why don't we just pause? Why don't we just, maintain? And so what we're looking at in my MBA and in my course and even personally is like, how do we just sustain where we are while still growing? And it's kind of like this circular moment. It's like, okay, more trends are coming in, more brands are coming in, more fashion, more stories. How do we still keep this same line of not destroying our world, but also not adding too much into it? And so there's no solution at the moment. And I think it's something that's going to come from tech. It's something that's going to come from this cross pollination, again, going back to borrowing technology from different fields, which is not something that's new. For years, we have always borrowed from each other. It's a collaborative, it's otherness. And so that's what we are looking at, and that's what I'm personally looking at. And I didn't think I would be so interested in sustainability because, as we've said, I really despise the word. And my colleagues, I've had a few debates with them as well, where I say, you know what? I don't think sustainability is 100% achievable, and we would, go back and forth. But the more that I think and I talk and I muse about it and how much I genuinely love this industry and what it can do, the more I want to sustain it, the more I want to protect it, the more I want to be able to be proud of the clothes that I wear. I was reading an article the other day on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn
Me too.
articles. Some of them they're so great and they deserve so much more recognition than they get. And he was talking about, again, sustainability and the fast fashion brand Shein. Um, and one of the quotes that really stabbed me in the gut was that sustainability is not just about the threads or the material that you throw on. It's an actual manifesto of your values. What do you mean a manifesto of my values? Living and breathing on me. I'm a walking billboard of what I believe in. And again, it goes back to fashion as a language. It goes back to fashion as a statement. And, every single human, whether they agree or not, really are involved in the world of fashion.
Yeah.
They wear clothes, they buy them, Primark, wherever, Zara, Louis Vuitton, anything. Fashion is a living, breathing language that we are all a part of. And so I find it very interesting that, it's fascinating.
It's so true.
So,
What a quote. No, that's amazing. It's so true. And there is no solution. And I think you and I probably, like, I spin my wheels at night being like, oh, what can we do? Because there is this thing of maintaining. And I agree. It's like you can't stop the creativity. You can't say to a new brand, you can't exist. You could be like, implement certain things that are responsible. Don't just come in. And actually, you mentioned Shane. I spoke to somebody recently on the podcast. It'll be upcoming, and he mentioned that Shane. It's very controversial, but they have some of the most advanced technology in the fashion industry, which
yeah.
you never hear that side because I agree, Shane, and what they're doing is not good. But it's just everything is nuanced. And I'm going a bit all over the place, but how do we maintain it? Okay, we got to use technology that people, I guess, like Shane, we just got to use it for the good. We have to look into each part of it. And we spoke a little bit about rewiring the brain of the consumer, because I have been looking at each part of this journey. I'm like, okay, how do we embed sustainability? Is it at the upstream level? Is it like at the sourcing level? Yes. Manufacturing? Yes. Down the supply chain? Yes, 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 yes. Consumer level? Also yes. So it's like, okay, it's everywhere, but actually, is that what's happening? Is that realistic? So you and I spoke a little bit about how do we change the consumer mindset? Where do you think actually the biggest change can happen?
Yeah, I think it's wow, it's a really interesting one because the way that I think about it, and when I used this analogy with you earlier, it's kind of like a smoking addiction. That nicotine, sensation that you get from fast fashion shopping. A new trend comes out, oh, I got to get it, or a celebrity's wearing something, oh, I got to get it. And this demand that society and our culture have created, therefore, the big brands are trying to push out as much product and elements as they can. It becomes this vicious cycle. And so you're correct in saying, well, where does that injection of sustainability responsibility come in? Does it come from the rewiring of the environment that we create? Because this need of wanting more and to follow the trends, and that demand puts a heavy weight on brands. Small brands that are trying to do the right thing, that come into the industry wanting to make a difference, wanting to only create their small community. They are faced with this, this herd of people saying, we want this, we want more, we want this, we want more. And again, that vicious circularity that is happening, it's a heavy thing to bear. And so when it comes to redesigning and reimagining and re-engineering this environment that we've gotten ourselves into, I think is extremely crucial, because the consumer is the one that is putting the demands on the brands, and the brands are the ones that are now feeding the consumer. So where does that injection happen?
And why wouldn't they? Because like you said, fashion is a business at the end of the day. Someone wants to give you money. You're not going to be like, oh, no, thanks.
At
I'm
the end of the
fine.
day, exactly. And it's a debate we've been having in classes as well with my colleagues, is like, what comes first? The joy of creativity or the need to live life and, be able to support your family and to have money? Because some brands come into it genuinely for the joy of creating, but you can't make a living. In this economy, you can't make a living off joy. I wish you could. I would be very rich if I could make a living of joy, but I cannot. And so it's a big problem that we have. And I'm looking forward to how we may not resolve, but how we can kind of correct just a little bit, just kind of fix the posture, just a little bit of chiropracticity in our posture when it comes to sustainability and this industry.
Yeah, we can't solve it completely. I mean, it's too much of a burden on any one person. But, if you and I are doing our small part, hopefully it's like a compounding effect as part of the bigger psyche change, the re-engineering of the industry. And yeah, it's heavy. But that's not to say that that's all that fashion is, because it's certainly not. But, we look to fashion. I mean, why do people still tune into fashion weeks? Why do people look at art? Why do people dress? Why do we wear our jewelry? Why? Because it brings joy, brings an expression of ourselves, as it should. Fashion, people might say it's frivolous, but you know what? That's what it's a part of, not even escape, but it can be escapism. Maybe you want to escape, in a feeling of, oh, I'm not good enough. Let me put on my red lipstick and walk outside and pretend that I got this. It's armor. So I do.
It is. It really, really is. And it's something that I find so much passion in, because it can help you break out into the person that you want to be. It can help, like, whether you're going for an interview, or if you're going on a podcast, or if you're going to, church or whatever, fashion is the thing that helps tell the world who you are without you having to use it. And I just, yeah, it's absolutely incredible. Like, I know I've personally used fashion as like a defying statement, or a political point of view, or if I'm feeling angry, like, just the way that I will use it is my language to communicate how I'm feeling or who I am.
Yeah.
Um, and the reason why people tune in to fashion weeks, and why they are still so interested in this world. Yes, escapism. Yes, because they want to know more, but also because fashion is art. It's movement. It's architecture. It's science. I mean, some of the fashion students are some of the most creative people I have ever spent time with.
Right.
Back in Melbourne, we have Melbourne Fashion Week, and one of my favorite shows is to go to the student fashion shows, because things they come up with, now that is storytelling.
Yeah.
Now that is visionary. And I just think fashion is this whole new world that needs to be protected.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm super happy there are people like you who are thinking about this, because it seems sometimes, when you read LinkedIn, or like me, you post, I feel like I'm talking to a void. And then to have somebody respond, like you, if I meet people like you, I'm like, thank goodness there are people out there. And I know they are. You read so much, like you were reading an article on LinkedIn, they're out there, but I think conversations are really important. And you're in this position, you're in Paris, you're doing such an incredible degree. Just keep spreading the word. I think it really does mean something. And yeah, just don't give up. I'm telling myself that in a little way as well, because it can be tough, because it seems like it's not where the money is, and like we've just discussed. But I disagree. I think there's a lot of investment that's just waiting for the right moment, or like the right, I don't know, the
Yeah.
level of trust. I'm not quite sure. I need to become a bit more au fait with this investment environment. But there's, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is trust, and it is relationships, and it is, I think it's humanity. That's what it is. It's relational. And again, that's what fashion is. It's relational, it's storytelling, it's humanity, it's form and function. Sometimes not very functionable, but it is functional.
Yes.
But you're 1,000% right, and I completely agree with you.
Well, thank you. Now, Joy, I want to ask you your advice for somebody who is like you, a young woman. I guess you've had a lot of experience behind you already, but I feel like you're at the cusp of a new journey. What would you say to yourself, I guess, 5 years ago? What advice would you give yourself to somebody wanting to be in fashion, maybe in fashion tech? Yeah, sound off.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I think I would start with what I would tell myself 5 years ago.
Okay.
And it's something that I have heard, somebody said this to me, or I read it somewhere, or I saw a TikTok or something, when it says, when you're scared, just do it anyway. Do it scared. When you're anxious, do it anyway. Just do it anxious. Because I remember at the beginning of my career, I was so scared to try, or I was so scared to reach out to people, but I think you don't grow without that challenge, and you don't evolve without, you know, that fear. And fear is always going to be there. And so you can't, for me, I couldn't live a life where it's just, I'm scared, I can't evolve, and I can't do anything. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here in Paris. And then in those same lines, I would also say it's about relationships. It's about otherness. It's about collaboration. Not everything, and especially in this industry, not everything is transactional. Not everything is tit for tat. Not everything is quid pro quo. Sometimes it's just, well, let's collaborate. How can I help you? And I think we were talking about this in our other chat before about a community. And instead of reaching and trying to climb up the ladder, like, let's reach around us. Let's build this round table. Let's see who's to our left and who's to our right. And together we can be able to, build a strong community. So I think otherness and courage are my biggest advice to anybody that's coming into this industry.
And just for life. What amazing advice. Yeah, I totally agree, because I do see the cutthroat nature sometimes. I guess, if you're applying for a job, you're applying for a program that has limited seats, spaces, sorry, you just want to be like, it's mine, it's me. But I think there's enough space, especially in fashion tech. There's space, and let's just push each other up and send the elevator back down if we get to the top, because why not?
Absolutely.
Why not?
The world is wide enough for all of us. There's enough space. There's no need for this me, myself, and my process and my journey, or, oh, I really can't do this. Like, I feel like the world is so big and there's so much space. And it's something that I've been talking again with a colleague, because at the moment we're all kind of hunting for internships. And because we're all looking for the same thing, it's feeling like we're part of this race we didn't even know we were in. And it's just this crazy feeling. But I look at some of my colleagues, I'm like, no, this job would actually suit you more because of your skills and your personality. And being like, you know what? Absolutely, go for it. How can I help you with that? And vice versa. And, my colleagues in my class that I'm in this year are exceptional people. And it's very rare to find exceptional people in this industry. And so when you do, another piece of advice, hold on to them, encourage them, build with them. This is our world. It's our turn.
Yeah.
So let's do it with kindness and with joy and looking fabulously at the same time.
I completely agree. And Joy, I want you to be more visible. I want to, that's something that I've seen in building my own thing with Material Talk. I have been so surprised as to how many people you actually reach in reaching out, in not being afraid, like you said, courage. And, I used to have to drink copious amounts of wine in order to do this. I used to just be like, okay, I wouldn't even do it for any, I don't know, other reason. I'd be like, okay, I need to email this person, but I can't do it unless I've had 3 white wines. So
have your courage juice. That's why it's there.
Yeah. And you know what? Even if you just try and take that into, if it's 9 a.m. on a Monday and you want to reach out to somebody, just do it anyway. Don't wait.
Yeah.
Just go for it and
just do it.
Be visible.
Yeah, I know I've done it. When you were like a teenager and you would text a boy and then you throw the phone away across the room. That's what I do when I'm messaging people on LinkedIn.
Yeah, me too.
Like, that's what I did with you. I send a message and then throw the phone across the room. It's like,
I know. And I saw this other, we're just full of advice on this podcast, but
yeah, love it.
I saw that I think that it does have some basis in science or culture, but just think of everything as not a big deal. Even if it's the biggest deal of your whole life, just tell your lizard brain, it's not a big deal. Message the CEO of LVMH, whatever. And then just don't throw your phone. Just put it down. Be like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's
exactly.
Fine. And
then it's so true. It's not a big deal.
Not a big deal.
At the end of the day, I think it was Austin Butler, the actor. He was talking about how embarrassment or cringe is an unexplored emotion. And I find that it's so true because we live in a society where you do something and it's like, oh, it's cringe. But look, it's okay to be cringe, And I've witnessed that firsthand. I was at a what's it called? The name's gone. Like a conference thing a few weeks back. And I saw a CEO that I wanted to talk to that I admire from this really cool fashion tech company. And she was coming off from the panel and I was just like, I really want to talk to her. I just want to say hi and how much I really enjoyed what she was saying. And I literally ran her down like, ma'am, madame, just 1 second. And I stood in front of her and I said, I'm just going to elevate myself really quickly, who I am. And I don't know where that came from, but the thrill of just knowing that I was able to stand up for myself and to pitch myself, even if nothing came out of it, I think is an unexplored thing. And I was really proud that I could do that. And now I know that if it comes to it, I can absolutely talk to a CEO. They're just people at the end of the day. They're rich people, but they're people at the end of the day.
Exactly. And you never know what's going to come of it. Like, shoot 100 times, you're going to get something. You're going to hit something. So that's amazing advice. Joy, I wish you all the best. We're going to be watching you. I think that you have a super bright future ahead. And it's been such a pleasure to have you on the show. Please come back anytime. I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours. Ooh, we must not forget, we have to tell everyone about your exhibition happening in Paris on the 13th of February.
Yes. I paint a little bit on the side. One of my, things that I love to do is visually tell stories, and it's not just in fashion, but also in art. Art is a very big part of my life. For a long, long time, I don't think I'm good. I just paint for the sake of painting. And my beautiful husband has always encouraged me to go out and do things. And so I had an exhibition in Jamaica when we were living there. And this year, I've painted a new collection, and I submitted it to this beautiful art gallery called The Holy Art, and they will be exhibiting one of my pieces.
This is exactly, it's a testament to everything you just said. Just look at what happened.
Just do it.
Just do it. Well done.
Courage and wine.
Yeah, there we go. Well, that's so exciting. We definitely will be exploring that. We will elevate you there, because it's really, like I said, it's a testament to what you've just preached, and I have no doubt that you're actually very good. Little humble Joy. So thank you so much again, and let's meet up very soon. And just thank you. This is where I get blubbery. Thank you, Joy. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Emma. And the same thing I could say to you. I mean, I think what you're doing, creating this space, is so important and so needed. And I love our chats. That I find them so lively. They may be all over the place, but I feel like we always get down to the heart of it. But I really enjoy my time with you.
Thank you, Joy.